Greetings, B-movie aficionados.
Hello, welcome to A Couple of Flicks. I'm Tristan.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Zach.
So good evening, as always. So hope everyone is doing well. So before we get started on this eccentric little episode we got going on here, have either of you watched anything you'd like to talk about recently? So, and also, how are you both? Just in general.
Pretty good.
Yeah, no complaints.
Good.
You?
Excellent.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So have either of you watched anything interesting lately?
I watched the Guest the other day.
Oh, Adam Wingard.
Yeah,
Did you like it?
that was pretty good.
Cool.
It was one I thought was gonna not live up to the hype, but it did.
Yeah, he can be hit or miss.
Yeah,
I'm not familiar with this.
it's pretty good. Definitely check it out.
I don't think I've seen that one yet. I think I've seen a number of his films though. I've even seen Homesick, like the one with Bill Moseley, and he's in it for like 2 minutes. So yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
cool.
I've been playing a crap ton of Elden Ring, even though it's not
Nice.
movie related, but that game's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of it or anything, but
I've seen the title.
yeah, it was partially like some of the lore and stuff was written by George R.R. Martin.
Nice.
And it's like Dark Souls from them, so it's a hard game and it's open world, but it's fucking huge. It's like mind-blowingly huge. Like, think of any open world game you've ever played and then multiply it by like 5 at least.
Nice. So it's open world?
Yeah.
Okay.
Besides that, I did watch the Ghostbusters, the new one.
Nice.
Yep.
I started that. I haven't finished it yet though.
Yeah. I liked it enough.
Cool.
I didn't like that podcast kid.
Oh my god, yeah.
He was an annoying little shit.
I'm not too far into it yet, but it seems pretty stylish. It seems kind of charming. I like that it starts off with the same music and all that, and it's kind of going for the same like mysterious vibe at first. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, it seems charming. So
yeah, but that's it for me. Oh, I started Ozark, the newest season. I watched the first episode like last night or something.
Good.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it's been so long since I saw the previous season. I thought they were gonna do like a previously on, but they didn't.
Yeah, I was expecting that too.
So I went back and like watched like the last 10 minutes of the last episode, and I was like, okay, I kind of remember what's going on now.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't like how they split up this season.
Yeah, I don't like how everyone's doing that now, it seems.
Yeah, especially with something like that where you just want to keep watching.
Yeah, Breaking Bad started it.
Yep.
I rewatched the first time in a long time, like at least like 20 years, maybe even longer than that. Galaxy Quest.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Classic.
Have either of you seen that one? You guys have both seen that, right?
Oh
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it too.
Yeah, me too.
It's it holds up really well, honestly. It's
That's what I've heard, yeah.
It like the first time I saw it, I hardly remember it. I know like I saw it around the time that it came out on VHS, and
Yep.
it, because it was kind of like a kids movie, and I remember like watching it and enjoying it, but I couldn't recall like a single thing about it.
Yeah, I
But
remember it was during the Tim Allen craze where he was in
yeah,
everything.
yeah, that was such a time.
Mhm.
But yeah, watching it now, like it like, and it was just today too.
Oh,
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It really holds up quite well. It actually kind of like does a good job of sort of crafting its own little world and stuff, and it does a good job of like not doing too much. Like it doesn't go crazy with the special effects. Like it keeps it very much like character focused, and it's more about like it's a lot more about the characters. Actually, there's only like a few action scenes, and like just like a few effects moments, and they're good, but there's like not like a lot of them. It's just, yeah, it I liked it. Yeah, it was cool.
I have the Blu-ray. I just need to rewatch it.
Yeah, it holds up well. It took me like half the movie to realize that the main character was Sigourney Weaver, or one of the main characters was Sigourney Weaver. I was like, oh my god, like something about like when certain actors like don blonde hair, it makes them unrecognizable to me. It's the weirdest thing. All right, so so time to get into this episode, and we're going to start off with my pick, which was a 1997 picture titled Love God, which it seems to be a little bit of an underground oddity. Like I doesn't appear like a whole lot of people have seen it. It's shot
yeah.
on, yeah. It's shot on, I'm pretty sure 35 millimeter, which I mean, everybody kind of knows if you film something on 35 millimeter and then you blow it up, it creates a very washed out, kind of dreamy quality to it that,
Yeah, and then you compress it on YouTube.
yeah, and then you compress it to YouTube, and it
Yeah,
results.
I thought it was shot on video the way it looked
Yeah,
on YouTube.
yeah, well, I should have looked for a better copy of it, because I think the quality that we watched was not ideal, unfortunately. Although I could still tell, like I could tell that it was shot on 35 millimeter, and that it probably would have still looked pretty cheap, even if the picture quality was like better. Although it probably would have been a little bit easier to tell what was going on in a few parts. Although in my opinion, I mean, because after I saw it, I was like, okay, I need to like figure out what the hell that was, because I was a little perplexed by it. And looking it up, a lot of people were kind of describing it as really confusing, but I actually had a pretty easy time following it, strangely enough. I don't know if it's because like I've watched a lot of like recent kids shows, and like I don't know if you guys have watched recent kids television, but like there are a lot of episodes are a lot shorter, and there's so much that happens in them, and they're animated so fast that you almost can't even process everything that happens in an average episode. This movie was made in 1997 and kind of feels almost like a live action version of something like that would exist now as a children's cartoon, except this is definitely not a kids movie at all. Like, in fact, this is probably among the most profane films we've watched on this show, I would say.
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah,
I had no I had no idea what was going on the whole time.
yeah.
Yeah, like I could follow it while watching it, but tell me to tell you what happened. I don't know.
Yeah.
To summarize, well, I could never summarize everything that happens over the course of this film, because there's a lot that happens, and there's a lot that happens at once too. Like, this is the type of movie that it's clearly very low budget, but it's also clearly very ambitious, which gives it a really weird quality, because you could tell it's shot guerrilla style. You could tell whoever made it just barfed their brain out onto the page
Yeah,
and shot like,
100%.
yeah, just shot very, very impulsively, and somehow this script manages to like balance about 4 different storylines at once. A huge, like more than a dozen characters. It's pretty strange. But I guess to summarize the plot, and correct me if any of this sounds, if I'm making any mistakes here, but I think this is the general gist of what I believe the movie's about.
I don't know if I'll be any help correcting you on anything.
Yeah. All right. I think I'm ready. Here, let me take a drink of water real quick. Oh, and by the way, do either of you have any kind of thoughts you have at the moment about what you watched? Or
It was frantic as fuck.
Yeah.
It felt like felt like we were watching just like a fucking fever dream. Got a lot of like, this came out before Requiem for a Dream, but had like that same kind of very high intense vibes of people being neurotic and shit. Like there's like that cleaning lady, not the cleaning lady, but the lady that wanted everything clean all the time, and
yeah,
it was real fucking weird.
yeah. And what about you, Zach?
Yeah, pretty much the same. Like it was very fast paced. Kind of felt like a 90s music video, just like trying to cram as much as they could into it.
It was like if liquid television, if liquid television like wouldn't stop.
Yeah.
Like if it was like at that level, but like stretched out to feature length. That's what it felt like.
Nope.
But okay, so the plot follows Will Keaton, who he's somebody who's actually been in a few trauma movies. I think probably his most like infamous role, or I guess one could argue more controversial role, is in Terror Firmer. This is probably my favorite trauma movie. But anyway, so he plays the main character in this, LaRue, I believe his name is.
Something French.
Yeah. And he suffers from what is it? Compulsive reading syndrome, I believe it was called. Yeah. Which is it's a syndrome where like you read something and then you have this like unstoppable like compulsion to destroy it. So he'll like look at a sign and it'll say slow down or something like that, and then he'll want to like destroy the sign. Or he'll see like a piece of paper that'll have his name on it, and he'll look at it, and then he'll like frantically like read his name and read all the information on the paper and then rip it up and eat it, and all that. Like he can't stop doing that. And so he's in an institution to, I guess deal with that. But unfortunately, at the beginning of the movie, the residents of they said like at least a half or like a quarter of or 1/3 of the people in the institution due to budget cuts, have to be relocated to a brothel.
Yeah, well, they said like various spots, but yeah, that's where they went. And is that a real syndrome? Did anyone even bother looking it up? Because that's a crazy one if I've ever heard of it.
I wanted to, and then I forgot by the end of the movie.
Yeah, same. And what's interesting about this movie is that the film is pretty much 100% like told from his perspective, which means that so there's like opening credits, and then like throughout the film the names of the characters will get like listed off, and he'll narrate it like and read it in the aggressive like frantic style that he does when he's like currently indulging. So
when the movie first started playing, they did a few of these like just exposition PowerPoint type shit. And he was reading it so frantically and fast. I was like, what is this sped up? Like, are we watching some type of sped up version or something? But no, it was not.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. And and by the way, all the actors in this, like, you can't really call it good acting or bad acting. It's just people who are 100% in it. So
screaming.
Yeah, they're just in the zone. By this point, they may as well all be hypnotized. so yeah, he's being relocated to this hotel, which I can only guess that it's a bordello or a brothel of some sort, because it seemed like people were just constantly banging all over the place in it.
It's
Um,
the name of the hotel was Love Hotel.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah. No, you're right. And he starts kind of flirting it up with this mute girl whose mom is, I think, the character you mentioned earlier, the one
Yep.
who she's got like a extreme like cleanliness. She's like an intensive germaphobe who's constantly sanitizing everything and constantly cleaning everything and stuff. And
Yeah, and when we're first introduced to the girl, like her name's Helen, she's like just giving a weird smile, and like her mom
Yeah.
was like, "Stop screaming," but she wasn't
Yeah.
saying a damn thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and she seems to be some kind of nymphomaniac of some sort. Like there's like one part where she spontaneously starts like performing oral on him, like just in the middle of the plot, like just kind of out of nowhere. um and then let's see, oh, and he also gets a roommate who has pervasive Tourette syndrome, who's just constantly just going ballistic and destroying stuff. And LaRue is trying to quell his disorder, or his mental illness, I guess, whatever you call it, by buying well, okay, first he's doing a few different things at once. One thing he's doing is he's wearing these glasses that like don't match, they're prescription glasses that don't match his eyesight at all. He can't see anything out of them, so he like wears these glasses in public to prevent himself from seeing any of the words that would cause him to lose his sense of control. And like, you know, because he impulsively, it's like a serious impulse of his to like read things and then destroy them. And also once he reads things, he can't stop reading them. Like he has to keep reading other stuff. Like and at one point in the movie, he loses his glasses and buys a bunch of magazines and stuff and newspapers and just brings them all back to his apartment and just reads them. And but he buys all this gum and chews it, and then is creating a sculpture of
Yep. It's
what
like in
eventually,
here.
yeah, exactly. That's yeah,
That's what I was thinking of.
that's what I thought of too. It's like Helga Pataki.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah. Let's see. While this is happening, there's also a situation involving one of the residents of this institution who she seems to have like a serious like Shiva fixation, and she's a prostitute going around murdering clients as sacrifices to Shiva. And she keeps getting busted and then let back out. And then there's like also the scientist, and he is looking for this parasite that's traveling through all these toilets, and it's occasionally grabbing people and chomping them up and spitting them out into these latex putty creature things. And you know, eventually it kind of culminates in a battle eventually. I mean, I'm not sure exactly how the plot goes in the direction that it does, but eventually the main character LaRue has to do battle with these parasites, like, and it's kind of incomprehensible. There's a lot of animation that occurs, which I can tell is really sophisticated, but again, it's shot in 35 millimeter, which downgrades like the way it looks significantly. Let's see. If you sit down after the end credits, you get to watch all the monsters in the movie have a giant orgy.
Oh shit! I didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Closed
it's
right out of it once the credits started rolling.
yeah, it's pretty gnarly. Like it's like this. Yeah, I can't describe it, but it was pretty wild. Yeah, it was, I don't know, it was an experience. I definitely felt like I was the main character, you know, like once, because like while I was watching it, I felt sort of out of whack with reality, kind of in the same way that he was, and
Yeah.
the way it all kind of unfolds into just sort of this intensive, oblivious like burst of insanity in these sort of urban landscapes.
Yeah. I mean, they did a good job with that, making
Yeah,
putting yourself in his shoes, because it was really frantic.
yeah, it really was. You know, it's quite an unusual little movie. Apparently, it, from what I understand, because I was sort of reading about it and looking into it, and I guess it appears to be somewhat of a lost movie by this point, which I'm not surprised about, to be honest, because 35 millimeter is notoriously hard to actually, preserve. But I don't know. I think it's an interesting little movie. It's definitely not gonna. It's probably not for most tastes, but I think if you're the type of person who has a really like sick, weird sense of humor and doesn't mind movies that are really bizarre and offbeat, like maybe like I'd say this is several steps up from something like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, because that has a more sophisticated like quality and tone and atmosphere to it,
Yeah, it's more
whereas
like
this is
like
more rustic.
yeah,
Go on.
I'd say it's like a trauma basically.
Yeah, definitely a quite trauma. There's a lot of perverted sex shit and gory, nasty, smelly looking stuff. When you talk parasites and you talk like toilet humor and stuff, this movie has quite a bit of that in it. A lot of farting and puking and stuff, but it's definitely like a low budget, unique style. I think I forget who directed it, but I feel like there was a vision here that made this kind of interesting in its own way. So I don't know. I'd be into the idea of somebody like preserving it in some form at some point.
Get
Yes.
vinegar syndrome on it.
Yeah, I could see that
There you
happening.
Yeah, I picture them like doing like a good release of a lot of different strange little movies. So I started taking notes while watching it, but eventually I kind of just stopped because it's like, I kind of just want to experience this and not really be analytical. And I kind of experienced this movie more like just a weird trip. I just kind of watched it, chilled, went with it, tried not to think too deeply about it. I laughed at some parts. Some parts were a little emotional, strange. I liked some of the acting. I liked some of the lines. I don't know. It's kind of the type of movie that's hard to talk about because there's just so much that happens in it. Yeah.
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 It wasn't what I expected. So.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
There was a lot of like animation and stuff to it as well. There was that talking head that would pop up every now and then, say something, and then go on.
Yeah, like the first few times it came up, it was like love God, and then later on it like imitated the cleaning lady. It's like clean this shit up, bitch, or whatever. I forget exactly.
Yeah.
Some of the animation reminded me a little bit of Shrunken Heads.
Yeah.
Just a little,
Yep.
which the more I think about it, the more I like Shrunken Heads. I kind of regret being in such a bad mood when I watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This movie kind of reminds me a little bit like a combination of like Shrunken Heads and like maybe Driller Killer or something like that. Just off the wall, weird behavior. It's like loud and annoying.
Yeah.
I think if it was a little slower of a pace, I would have liked it more. Like it would have been that weird 90s vibe that I really like, but it was just like too sporadic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can understand that. Yeah, for sure.
Let's see, what do I got? I don't know. I mean, just there was that one. I thought I laughed at the scene where that Helen girl, she first makes out with the dude, and he pops a boner, and she like just grabs it and spits gum in his mouth, and then walks away. I think that's where he got the idea to make the gum statue after that.
Yeah. The actual gum statue looks, I mean, I couldn't quite make out the details, but I like it. Wasn't it supposed to represent like the love god or something like that? Or okay,
Possibly.
or maybe. And when the OCD cleaning lady discovers it, she gets really freaked out.
Yeah.
Also,
and the girl kills her mom too.
oh
Yeah.
Stabs her and then starts scrubbing her down in the bath.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, she kills her mom and then dismembers her in a really weird way by basically scrubbing her into gelatin.
Yeah.
Does it throughout the course of the whole movie. What were you about to say, Zach?
I was gonna say I was surprised to see that lady because the cleaning mom, she was in Orange Is the New Black. I don't know if you guys watched that, but
I have it.
What's
Who
the
was she?
episode?
she was Frida. She's that old lady that had the scar on her throat.
Oh,
That's cool.
damn.
Yeah, that's the only other thing I've seen her in is this.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
That's cool. I didn't catch that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there was also a scene where Luru like picks up a couple of girls and they go to a hotel where like a murder had just taken place.
Oh, yeah.
And like the room hadn't been cleaned up yet, so they're like having sex in the bed and there's like blood and guts everywhere. I mean, it's that type of movie. Like you kind of have to just
Yeah, that
not
was
be too concerned. Yeah.
that part. Like I looked away for like a couple seconds, and then they were there. I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah.
But, like that's another thing. You cannot look away if you want to experience
Yeah.
it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was watching it, I had a hard time. Like, I had a hard time looking. There was a part, like, at some point near the end, I needed to use the bathroom, and I'm like, well, I kind of want to finish this first, So, but eventually, I paused it and then used the bathroom. So, yeah, the movie was compelling, but not that compelling.
Yeah, it's on YouTube too.
Yeah.
Forever long, it's gonna stay up there. Yeah.
Yeah, but I would definitely recommend though that if you're gonna watch it, look for a good copy because like it's on YouTube, but I'm sure it's like available like in like better shape somewhere, like undoubtedly. Because like I get the sense that this movie does have a decent little cult following. I mean, the reason I had heard about it is because one of like somebody I became friends with on one of my weird movie groups was talking. He was like describing the plot, and I was like, okay, all right, enough. I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna watch it. Like, don't tell me anymore, because it just sounded interesting. I didn't expect it to be so bizarre and off the wall in its style and editing, but I don't know. In the end, I was able to jive with it pretty well, and yeah, I could definitely see a lot of people really finding it like too irritating to watch, but
I do.
yeah, and that's fine. That's totally cool. I think I just appreciate the bizarre energy and the just reckless, senseless style of it. I can dig a weird experimental underground movie as long as I'm like in the right mood. I think I was in the right mood when I watched this. So had I been in the mood when I watched, like the same kind of mood was in when I saw Shrunken Heads, this might have been like, this probably wouldn't have been for me. I'd give it a 3, honestly. I quite enjoyed it. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's a low budget little movie. I gotta give it some kudos because I was quite charmed by it.
I'd give it a I don't know, it's hard. 1.5. Nah, I'll give it a 2. Why not? Just cause.
Okay.
Just cause.
All right. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I give it a 2 as well. Like I said, if it was slower pace, I would have really liked it, but it was too chaotic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not easy. If it is wicked fast paced. It does feel like it's like on fast forward almost. So there's scenes that last like 20 seconds. So where like 5 different things happen. So. All right. So I guess the next movie we will talk about is yours, Zach.
Yep. I chose Nothing But Trouble, starring and directed by Dan Aykroyd.
Indeed.
The only movie he's directed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Yeah, for real. Nah.
Yeah. I'd heard about this one talked about a lot, and then the Blu-ray came out, so might as
Yeah,
well.
I heard of it too. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys finally decided to sit down and check out the infamous Nothing But Trouble. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I always heard it was so bad, so
Yeah.
I had to see for myself.
Yeah. Well, do you want to read the plot summary, or do you want to what do you want to do? Like, do you want to share your thoughts on it first, like brief thoughts, or?
No, yeah. It wasn't as bad as I thought, since everyone talks so much shit about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I feel the same.
Even
with
I've
that,
talked shit about it.
yeah.
But it wasn't. It was enjoyable for the most part. Had some definitely interesting qualities to it.
Yeah. And I have to admit, I actually enjoyed it a lot more on this watch than I did before. Like, yeah, the first time I saw it, I found I really hated it, mostly because of Chevy Chase, honestly. Watching it now, like I got more into the spirit of it and the style. So.
Yeah, I'll just read the plot summary.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Love God doesn't have one.
Yeah. I don't even think Love God has a Wikipedia page.
No. All right. While hosting a party in his Manhattan penthouse, financial publisher Chris Thorne, Chevy Chase, meets lawyer Diane Lightson, Demi Moore, which I didn't expect her to be in a movie like this either.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not a Demi Moore fan. So it's like Chevy Chase and Demi Moore. Uh-oh. Like, yeah, there you go. Nothing but trouble.
They meet and agrees to escort her to consult the client in Atlantic City the following day. That just came up randomly, like.
Yeah, that she had to get to Atlantic City.
Yeah, no rhyme or reason, really.
Nope.
Yeah, it seemed a little forced.
Yeah. Thorne's clients, obnoxious but wealthy Brazilian siblings Fausto and Ronaldo. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that last name.
Oh, the siblings?
Yeah.
The Brazilianaires.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scorninsu. I don't know.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. They meet up with them and invite themselves along. Like they just show up outside the parking garage as they're leaving.
Yeah, and just get in the car. It's funny.
Chris takes a detour off the New Jersey Turnpike. I guess they were trying to cut time.
Yeah.
Or was it like for the view or something? It was something stupid.
Oh yeah, they wanted to do have just fun scenic. They said they had a picnic. The Brazilianaires. Like,
yeah,
let's
that's right.
go on a picnic or something.
Yeah, Chevy Chase is kind of out of his element.
In the whole movie, he's out of it. It feels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does not want to be there. You could tell all his joke deliveries are like just dead. Not even like deadpan humor. Just like, oh yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah, pretty much.
So they take the detour, ultimately ending up in the rundown village of Vulcanvania, which is kind of a stupid name, but
Oh, and I noticed they had GPS back in '91.
Oh yeah,
I was surprised by that.
Yeah. And by the way, I don't know how much it says about Vulcanvania, but it seems like Vulcanvania. Okay, so it's obviously based on Centralia, which is a town that actually exists. Which I'm sure you guys have read about it. It's the one where there was like a coal mine that a coal mining disaster that burned underground, and the video game Silent Hill is based on the town of Silent Hill is based on Centralia. It's a town that actually exists. There's very, very few residents. It's mostly a ghost town, and yeah, it's a town that actually exists. And there've been like incidents where like holes have like locations and parts of the town have like caved in. There was an incident that happened like a few decades ago where a young boy almost got swallowed up by one of the holes. Like it's actually a pretty creepy idea to set a movie, like set a horror movie in a town like that, you know. And so interesting location for a comedy, I gotta say.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like the comedy version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre almost.
Yeah. It's like a comedy version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Silent Hill, you know, kind of mushed together a little bit. Like,
comedy.
Comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that's like we gotta maybe. Well, okay, we gotta unpack this a little bit, but you can keep reading if you want.
After running a stop sign, hold on, I don't know if you can hear my dogs, but
oh yeah, no worries. I can't hear them personally. So.
yeah, they stopped.
Oh, okay.
After running a stop sign and subsequently attempting to escape, pursuing Officer Dennis Valkenheiser, played by John Candy, the group is captured and taken before his 106-year-old grandfather. I didn't catch that he was 106.
No, I didn't either. And that
Yeah.
car chase scene too was another example of Chevy Chase just phoning it in. He did not look like he was like going 120 miles an hour being chased by a cop. He was just like, oh,
No.
huh, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah, he didn't even care. Like,
No.
he thought he could outrun them, even though like the cop was using turbo boosters.
Yeah.
I mean, that just goes to show you. Like, as soon as he did that, I was like, all right, I don't care if this character survives or not. Like, now Chevy Chase, like he could drop dead for all I care. His character, like.
Yeah, I'd say John Candy was the best part of the movie.
Yeah, agreed. His character, the cop, like he was the character I cared the most about, like out of all of them.
Yeah, both his characters.
Oh yeah, yeah, I liked him as the sister too. He was hot.
Yeah. So they're captured, taken before 106-year-old grandfather, Judge Alvin Valkenheiser, played by Dan Aykroyd, full makeup and a dick nose.
Yeah, he's got a penis for the nose, and you know I have to admit that's like one of the only things about this movie that I remembered was that Dan Aykroyd had a penis on his nose, like. And so whenever I think of Nothing But Trouble, I was like, oh, is that the movie where like Dan Aykroyd has the penis nose? Like, that was the first thing I remember.
Yeah, there's a couple points where Chevy Chase hallucinated that was an actual dick nose.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the only parts I laughed at.
Yeah, there were a few parts I laughed at this time around, mostly just because of how strange it was. Like, yeah, we could talk about that as we go along, but yeah, okay, so then what happens?
After Chris offends the judge, the yuppies are locked in a hidden room under the courthouse to be judged the next day, which they drop the floor onto a pile of squeaky toys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know where the squeaky toys came from, but I guess I can only imagine they were there as cushioning, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird shit like that, just random shit around this property.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty creepy actually, because you kind of get the sense that it's material that they've accumulated from
Yeah, so
people
he's
passing through.
murdered a bunch of children or pets, maybe.
Yeah, it's possible. It's like pretty sinister for a comedy. Like at no point does the film really invite you to laugh at this situation, actually.
Yeah, other than when they throw a dick nose in there.
Yeah, well, and also like the Tupac scene, which we'll get to, but
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what? No, we'll get to that. Okay.
yeah, we have.
Oh, wait. Oh, and there's that they execute some drug dealers too. He does with like that roller coaster.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Bone Stripper.
Yeah, it even has a theme song,
Oh, yeah.
which is like this real. It's like the most annoying sounding, like hair metal style, crappy song like I've ever like. Oh, Bone Stripper! It's like, oh god. Ugh, early 90s, like I can't do it. Sorry, didn't mean to be a bitch, but anyway.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they overhear the judge finally executing a group of convicted drug dealers on a deadly roller coaster nicknamed Mr. Bone Stripper. Which was a weird, like funhouse looking stupid contraption too.
Yeah.
Looked like something out of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2 or something. Like, just really stupid looking. Like, yeah.
Honestly, if they made this straight horror, it would probably be good.
Honestly, yeah, it kind of would have worked better. It like without all the jokes and silly like Chevy Chase acting like a dork. Like,
yeah.
Anyway, it gets a lot weirder.
Yeah. Chris, Diane, and the Brazilians attend the judge's dinner, learning that the judge is holding them there as retribution for a cold deal, which the Valkenheiser family blames for their poverty.
Mm.
Kind of a disgusting dinner scene.
Oh, that was so gross.
Yeah,
like flaccid hot dogs just covered in
gray hot dogs.
Yeah, well, it's one of those old school like bratwurst type of hot dogs. Which like, what was weird about it was that they were being served on just like single pieces of bread, like rather than like some like kind of like a roll that they would appropriately fit in or something like that. And then in addition to that, so when the food gets served, it gets served with these like condiments that get brought out on like a train cart. But the condiments aren't normal condiments. Like it's not like ketchup or mustard or anything like that. It's like this white chunky stuff, and then there was something else like honey or some weird thing. Like
I thought they had at least ketchup and mustard.
Maybe there was.
Because there was like Dan Aykroyd. There was a disgusting shot of Dan Aykroyd eating. He was just, I don't know if he was just eating or just shoving it into his face. Like,
yeah. Dan Aykroyd, he's got like this really gross looking makeup. He's like this old guy who looks all like skeletal, like he's all decrepit. And then you get to watch him eat, and you get to watch him eat really messily too. You get the food all over his face and stuff. It's just like not pleasant at all, really. It's actually really unpleasant to sit down and watch this movie. There's just like a lot of like unflattering moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did like that condiment train. That was cool.
Yeah. Stylish, yeah. And it was around this point in the film where the siblings get freaked out and run away. Oh, okay, go on.
Yeah, the group attempts an escape, but Alvin's mute granddaughter Aldona, played by John Candy in drag, captures Chris and Diane. Meanwhile, after being chased by Dennis's trigger-happy cousin, Miss Perda, the Brazilians escape by cutting a deal with Dennis, who decides to escape with them.
Yeah. And by the way, that sister. Now let's talk about her for a moment. Like, she pretty much exists in this movie to be nothing other than like a bully with a gun. Like, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of interesting because like she kind of represents like the dark side of like enforcement, whereas like John Candy is like a cop who like wants to do the right thing but has kind of been roped into this corrupt, you know, family situation that has kind of taken up like the main sort of like course of his career.
Yeah, he's there for some reason. I forget why. I think he's kept there, but
Yeah,
he obviously doesn't want to be there.
yeah, pretty much. And I guess also at one point Dan Aykroyd's like, "Oh, you're going to inherit this place one day," but he probably doesn't really want to inherit it, like considering that it's a decrepit estate filled with material like that was stolen from dead tourists. I mean, kind of not really the type of estate that anybody should really be inheriting, honestly. Let alone over a burning coal mine.
Yeah. The judge holds Chris and Diane hostage, but they eventually escape, get lost through hidden hallways and slides, and become separated.
Yeah, Chevy Chase falls into a big pile of bones.
Yeah, and it's behind the wall of Dan Aykroyd's bedroom, and you see him take his penis nose off, and it's like a bat nose looking thing he has.
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna expand on that more, but
yeah, I thought they were going for like a vampire vibe or something because
yeah,
kind of looked like, you know, Gary Oldman's Dracula-ish.
yeah, and the town's named Vulcanvania.
Yeah,
Transylvania.
yep.
He also removes a few of his other limbs too. Like, doesn't he take off his leg, his arm, or something?
Yeah,
he definitely has a fake leg because Chevy tries to smack it at one point when he's getting chased by him, and he's like, "Ha, that was my wrong one," or something like that. You should have gone for the other one.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So then what happened? Yeah. Oh yeah. Then Demi Moore winds up in another location.
Yeah.
Kind of spirals into another rather unusual subplot.
Yeah. Escaping into the property's salvage yard, Diane meets and befriends the judge's severely deformed grandchildren, Bobo, also played by Dan Aykroyd, and Lil Debble.
Little Devil, yeah. They're basically like, I mean, I don't know what it says on there, but like they're basically like deformed people who are like adult babies. Like,
yeah, they're wearing diapers. It was like kind of like fat pinheads is what I remember or think of them as.
Yeah, like Cenobite baby monster things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are barred from living in the house.
And they look like they're covered in shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably are.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
However, she also notices Aldona destroying Chris's BMW. You can hear that. But...
Oh, it's something. They just want in on the on the podcast. Okay, so where were we?
Salvage yard. Those people. Diane notices Aldona destroying Chris's BMW. And then the judge catches Chris sneaking into his personal quarters and punishes him per house policy, which decrees that Chris must marry Aldona. Which for some reason the John Candy and drag just wants Chevy Chase the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's the type of thing where like she actually did seem kind of nice. Like, I mean, I could tell like she was sort of like a bouncer type, you know, but I actually kind of felt a little bit sorry for her, you know. By the way, I can already tell the Wikipedia article isn't going to talk about it, but there is one thing that kind of happens in the midst of all this stuff that is rather funny. Okay, so basically, you know, throughout the course of the movie, so not only do they arrest some drug dealers, but there's also another group of people that get arrested as well, and it's a special guest appearance by the Digital Underground.
I had no idea. Yeah. So you
Yeah.
said Tupac was in there? I had no
Yep.
idea. I did not know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tupac Shakur was in the bunch. So yeah, so yeah, and they kind of stick around too. Like,
Yeah, they like them. They like them. Yeah.
yeah, you know, like eventually they get sent on their merry way, but there's a musical scene, and like Dan Aykroyd starts boogieing and dancing on the keyboard and stuff. It's like the one scene, the only scene I laughed at, to be honest, because
It's the only good scene,
random.
really.
Yeah, it was just so random and stupid.
Yeah, they start, playing their music, and then he tickles the ivories, plays with them. It was good.
It's hilarious. Like it just randomly turns into a musical. All around the world, same song, and they even play the wedding bells, you know, which of course is like the hip hop, like down, down, down,
Yeah.
you know, and so like yeah, they get to play at their wedding. I just felt like that was worth mentioning that in this movie, Tupac Shakur plays at a wedding between Chevy Chase and John Candy. And you know, that's why we watch these movies, so that we can find things like that.
Was he the one with the fake nose?
No. He had
Because
like
there was one guy with a fake nose, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that wasn't Tupac. Tupac was one of the he was one of the singers. He was like the person who sang the chorus. Like,
yeah, like that jersey on.
I don't know how I missed him.
yeah, he's only in a few shots. He's kind of a little guy, you know. He doesn't stick out very much.
Okay.
But yeah,
I mean, I know Tupac well, so I'm surprised I missed him.
yeah. Just that. It's the thing. It's like younger Tupac, so it's kind of interesting, you know. But yeah, look it up. Just type in like Tupac in Nothing But Trouble. You'll spot him. He's in there. Yeah.
I'll get right on that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah, then what happens?
Meanwhile, here we go. Meanwhile, in the courtroom, Digital Underground is being held on charges of speeding.
Okay.
But the judge releases them after being charmed by an impromptu rap performance. He also asks them to stay as his witnesses for the wedding, which Chris reluctantly goes through with in exchange for his life, but is later caught. Later caught pleading with the band to help him escape. The band leaves without understanding him, and the judge furiously sentences Chris to die in Mr. Bone Stripper.
Mm-hmm.
The machine breaks down just before Chris is fed into it, and he escapes. The judge nearly kills Diane with another claw contraption known as the Greater Teen.
Yeah. Which was basically just like a platform where she would just get chopped into a bunch of pieces.
Oh, right. It was like a 3-bladed guillotine, but
yeah,
for your body instead of your head.
Yeah. Just really
like
creepy.
3 plows.
Oh yeah. It was just plows for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. It's such a creepy idea. The idea of getting chopped up like that. Like there's that movie The Cell where they do that to that horse with like that one blade machine that has like 24 blades on it. It's like, ooh, I can't. That's kind of that sounds like a creepy way to die, you know, getting chopped into nothingness basically.
Like if it was a horror movie, it would have been so much better.
Yeah.
Exactly, you know.
Someone actually gets chopped up.
Yeah. And I don't like Demi Moore, so if Demi Moore had died in this movie, like I mean, yeah, I wouldn't have like obviously it would have been sad for her character, but secretly would have been like, well, Demi Moore, like she needs to die in movies once in a while. I mean, like let's be real. Maybe the next time though, she should die as a villain. Like,
Chris retrieves her at the last second, and the two jump on a freight train back to New York. After the two report their plight to the authorities, local and state police raid the judge's courthouse. Chris and Diane are asked to accompany the officers to the site, only to find out that the officers involved are fully aware and are allied with the judge. The couple escapes when the area's underground coal fires cause a colossal earthquake, fatally destroying the town. And then back to New York, Chris sees the judge on television, brandishing Chris's driver's license, announcing that he and his family have planned to move in with his new grandson-in-law, causing Chris to comically flee for his life.
Oh yeah, they fucking left a Kool-Aid Man imprint on one of the walls.
Yeah. And that brings me to my main problem with this movie. Because I'll say right now, I mean, even though I do like this movie more now than I used to, I kind of feel like this movie, this is where the plot should have started. Like, Chevy Chase discovers that he is getting married to the daughter of a psychotic, rich serial killer. And he has flashbacks to like his experience with meeting his father-in-law, and then he moves into the apartment and has to deal with him. Like, I feel like that would have made that a potential comedy. Like Chevy Chase being some smug businessman trying to navigate having a deranged grandfather live with him, along with a crazy wife. I don't know. Like, I would have wanted to see that movie. That would have been nothing but trouble. But yeah, but this, I like the junkyard. Like, I like the whole fire and brimstone thing. I like the hellish landscape it's got going on. It's dark and gross looking, and really, if it were a horror movie, this movie would be dope. It really would. As a comedy, it's got a few parts that I found funny, but not laugh out loud funny, other than maybe the Digital Underground scene and the penis nose. And I have to admit, like, I do think it's kind of funny that John Candy, the only reason he brought him back to the mansion was for running a stop sign.
Yeah.
After all the shit.
Yeah, he swept the speed, the car chase under the road. He didn't even mention it.
Yeah. Dan Aykroyd gets in the zone in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And when Dan Aykroyd gets in the zone, there's no stopping him. He just does his own thing, and it doesn't really matter if it's funny or not. It's just Dan Aykroyd doing his thing. There's some movies that I love Dan Aykroyd in that I think he's awesome and hilarious and interesting to watch in. And then there's some Dan Aykroyd movies where I watch him and I just feel a little bit like I do not like this character. Christmas with the Cranks would fall into that category. Personally, I don't like Dan Aykroyd's character in that movie at all. I'd say for me, this character is, it's like he's so weird that I don't even know whether I like him or not. Like,
yeah,
it's just bizarre.
I mean, that's what could be said about the whole movie.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know whether I like it or not.
I didn't like it really.
It's inexplicable.
Yeah.
Is what I would.
It's strange as hell.
Yeah. But go on. Or okay. Were you gonna say something, Nick?
Oh no, I just thought it was strange, not funny.
Okay.
Like, I was still really like, I guess not really shocked, because it's kind of Chevy Chase's thing now. He phoned it in this whole movie. Like,
Yeah.
there were definitely, if he tried to deliver some lines. There would have been some good jokes every now and then, but he didn't. He just kind of said them and then went about his business.
Yeah.
And it was otherwise just kind of boring-ish. It was like I thought of, oh, this is like a giant mouse trap, like, you know, that board game Mousetrap with that
Yeah.
house with them in it.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. What did I use, Zach?
I still don't know whether I like it or not, but like it's got that weirdness that then a lot of weird 90s movies had that I like. But at the
Yeah, me
same
too.
time, like it's just something about it I didn't like. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I originally gave it a 3, but I think I'm gonna go with a 2 now.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to place. It's hard to know where to put this movie because I admire its ambition, and I like its set pieces. I like I
Yeah.
like its grim attitude a lot. I feel like there's something there. It works with stuff like Beetlejuice, and there's other movies that are demented and bizarre that are still enjoyable. This sort of teeters on that line. The problem is that Chevy Chase just seems so misplaced. Like maybe if like the main character were a little bit more interesting.
Both of them.
I mean, Chevy
Yeah.
Chase didn't want to be there for sure.
Yeah.
Like I read like a little bit of trivia. It was a favor for Dan Aykroyd. Like he did it as a favor mostly. And like there was like an interview with all the cast after it was like bombed and reviewed, like shit on, and they all, you know, everyone else was politically, you know, saying, oh yeah, I didn't, it was something, you don't, but Chevy Chase was like, yeah, I regret being in this movie. he, he straight up said, I regret doing this.
Okay. I can understand why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see why it bombed on. I get why people hate it. I really do. I at one point hated it. I don't hate it anymore, but I wouldn't say I like it. I like what it's trying to do more than what it actually ends up doing. When it comes to weird 90s movies, this one didn't, it does have that quality, but it didn't quite hit the spot for me. Like I would have preferred. So.
Yeah. I'd give it a 1.5 just for like the set. You know, the sets were cool, intricate and everything, like,
Yeah.
but the plot and story and characters and everything else was just flat.
Yeah. It's it was fun to rewatch, you know. I definitely still like the Digital Underground scene.
Yeah, that was good. That was the best scene.
Yeah. I'll give it a 2. There were things about it I admired. I'm not gonna call it a good movie, but I think it's one I kind of I got a little bit of a kick out of. So, you know, a part of me wants to give it a 3 based on just its explosive set pieces, but it's a little too not quite with it for me. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So yeah,
on to Uninvited, a 1987 horror film. It's, I guess the basic plot is there's a cat, a teratoma cat, like malignant, you know.
Yes.
Malignant on a boat, but a cat.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to describe it.
The first scene, yeah, you know, first scene takes place like, as well in a laboratory. They're experimenting on animals. This this cat escapes and, you know, kills people on its way out. But yeah. And like the teratoma comes out of the cat's mouth. I don't really know how it works, but if it just leaves the body and like the body's just kind of lying there and then it crawls back into his mouth or not. I'm not sure, but that's the way it seems how it works.
That was
They probably weren't even sure.
Yep.
It seemed like it crawled out and then eventually morphed back into the cat. Like, I mean, I don't recall seeing it crawl back in.
I think it did a couple times.
Oh, okay. Well,
but yeah, so there's that, and the main cast of characters are these spring break in college kids. There's Bobby and Suzanne, the two main females. They meet up with this rich dude who randomly invites them on his yacht.
yeah, pretty much.
Just because he's a rich horn dog that wants some pretty arm candy with him.
But then there's also a plot.
Yes,
like it in the like that's like a conspiracy type of thing. Like there's a reason they got these people on board. For the most part, yeah. For what he says is so they're Wall Street people. Him like his name I forget what his name is. Graham was his last name at least. Like I don't know. Yeah.
Walter Graham or something. He's a big shot Wall Street guy. And he did some illegal stuff. The SEC's on his ass. And so he's planning to book it out to the Cayman Islands. And he says he's bringing the girls on for cover because he's like, oh, they're not. We need some pretty ladies on a yacht. It's cover, And all of his partners were like, no, that's stupid. Don't take them. You just want to bang them. Stop. Which is probably true anyway.
Right.
Yeah, and then we get early on that he's a bad guy because I don't know, they kill some lower level dude randomly.
Yeah.
Which is a weird way to kill him too. They whip out a gun but then just drown him in the pool.
Yeah, it was strange. I was like, okay, I don't know what but I mean, yeah, you did give you kind of a good idea of like who these guys were. It also kind of immediately told me that they were going to die too, because in a movie like this, if there's a monster on the loose, it usually kills the bad guys first,
Yeah.
And this movie had quite the cast too, because it had was it George Kennedy and Gulager was in it too, wearing really weird looking false teeth. His death scene was so funny, by the way. But okay, anyway, so go on.
Yeah. So the girls meet up with their boyfriends, which I didn't know at first because the guys were just chilling, having lunch, and then they walk up and invite them onto the boat as well. The girls do, and I was like, why? Because they didn't make it evidently clear at the beginning that they were together, but they were just being cheeky.
Yeah.
So yeah, they all go on the boat. And while they're going to the boat, they find the cat. It's stashed away in some type of, I don't know, trunk, not trunk, but I don't know. It was on the dock somewhere in a box, basically. They hear it meowing, which, oh my God, the meowing in this fucking movie it's too much. It was driving me up the wall.
Well, why was it constant? Because it was meowing even at points where it clearly wasn't meowing at all. It was meowing even when it was licking itself.
Yeah, it had shots of it with its mouth closed, and there's just that meowing sound effect throughout.
And my cat was sitting right behind, right over here while I was watching it, and it left in the first he left the room in the first 2 minutes of the movie. He couldn't stand it. It was so annoying because it had the same two meows again and again. It's just
the same. It was just a sound effect over and over, so much. Luckily, though, it did stop once death started happening.
Yes, thankfully.
Cut back on that, but that's still 30 minutes into the movie. For the first 30 minutes, you're just hearing a constant annoying meowing sound.
I hated it. But what were you gonna say, Zach?
Oh no, I was just agreeing. It was too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh. What were your reactions to these like when the cat came out of the mouth? Like, cause I was shocked.
Yeah, it was interesting looking, that's for sure.
Yeah. Did you like the puppet?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The puppet wasn't
I,
bad.
I do love a good puppet. As soon as I saw that puppet, I was like, all right, this movie is not getting a 1 star from me.
A puppet inside a puppet, basically.
Yeah, I was like, I dig it. Like a cat puppet with a demon inside of its mouth. Like that's exquisite.
Mm-hmm.
That's exquisite. Loved it.
Yeah. So they get on the boat. Everyone's on the boat getting ready for a party and everything. But the Wall Street people just want to book it out of there because they get word that the SEC is about to raid their boat.
Yeah.
But the boat is understaffed because the Wall Street guy's a dickhead and everyone quit basically. And we're introduced to the other main character, which is a captain, a young lady. She's the daughter of whoever owned the boat before him, and she like her main goal through the movie is to try and get the boat back eventually. And she reminds him that, oh, we don't have a crew, so we can't even dock or start if we don't even have a crew. So all the kids are you know they become the crew basically. They're like, oh yeah, you're the bus boy, you're the cook, you're the maid,
makeshift,
whatever. Yeah.
Makeshift crew.
Yeah.
They try to create their own sort of swept away type atmosphere. Like, the boat like that they're on at the beginning of the movie, like kind of reminded me of the boat in this movie. Like the fact that it had like these little rooms inside of it that were kind of decently sized and had these little hallways in them and lots of light and stuff. I was surprised by that. I was like, oh, okay, this boat, like, it wasn't the best boat I've ever seen in a movie like this, or by any means.
Yeah.
But it was, it was kind of neat, neat for its size.
Yeah.
There's a couple rooms that looked a little too big, but
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
Agree. The basement. I
Yeah.
really don't understand the size of that. I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the underworkings engines room. It was fucking like the Titanic down there.
Yeah, it's a mess.
It was just a small yacht. Like, what the Jesus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Eventually, I mean, there's just a quick shot too of a cat fucking with the down there too. So, which comes up later.
Yeah.
They're partying and shit.
Yeah.
We get a little background on the characters. The main, I don't know, there's the main guy, business guy. His name was Corey. He studies business. One of them's a jock type character, and then there's the nerd. I liked him, Lance. He was like he was like a biologist of some sort. We get the introduction that he's a nerd because he's playing backgammon with while everyone else is partying.
That was cool.
Yeah. And he has a thing with the captain, which was cute.
Yeah.
Nice little interaction with him.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
Oh, and then so during that party, one of the business dudes, the bad guys, I'll call him, I guess. One of them, I don't know. He was just drinking while driving or sailing the boat. He gets pretty fucking shit faced. and the captain returns to take back over, and just sends him out. And he goes, looks for some more alcohol. He finds the cat in a wine chest, and he's like, he fucks with the cat like a dumbass. He takes a sip of the wine and then just spits in the cat's face.
Yeah, that was
it's wine all over it.
That made me laugh so hard. That was my favorite death scene in the
movie. Yeah. And then the cat Teratoma jumps out and mauls him. And you see his neck is pulsating and he's just like gargling and dying basically for
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah, because the cat messes him up good.
Yeah, yeah,
The demon kitty.
yeah. And he falls off the edge too.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Which, by the way, like, I love like when people fall off the boat in this movie. It's like the funniest thing in the world. Like,
Yeah. Oh, it's so dumb looking.
yeah,
But yeah, so he dies. That's the first death on the boat.
yeah,
And the next morning they're all wondering where he is. The two main rich dudes, they realize that no, he probably hit his head and fell off because there was still some blood leading off the edge, but they don't want to turn back because they're they're in pursuit. People are following him. They're pretty forceful with the captain saying no, it's not. The main guy bribes her saying, I'll give you the boat back if you get us to the Cayman Isles and don't report this shit. So that happens. That's what's going on there. And the nerd, he finds a rag and he makes like a makeshift telescope thing, which I thought was pretty sweet. It's like they use some type of nautical instrument, and she's like, what are you gonna do with this? That's for sailing or whatever. And he's like, oh, I got this. And he like uses that and a magnifying glass and some water to take a look at the bloody rag that they found at the site of death. Does some CSI shit on it, enhance, and notices like that the blood's all messed up. He's like, oh, the blood count on this is off the charts. So they still don't know anything about the cat, or they don't know what to make of it then. But that leads them to assume that something else is going on inside this boat. And and then this is basically when shit starts going down real fast. There's a scene where one of the girls is doing some jazzercise or whatever, exercising, and the main guy tries to move on her. He's like like the implication, if you're familiar with It's Always Sunny.
Yeah, and they're on a boat too. So
they're on a boat. It's about the implication. You can't go anywhere. It's the implication. You wouldn't say no, but it's the implication.
This movie did that before. That's Always Sunny in Philadelphia did it.
Right.
Little did we know, Uninvited.
Yeah.
Which actually, and the title, there you go. Like, boom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then so he's straight up trying to get on her, but her boyfriend comes and tries to take him off, like beat him off, and
Yeah, yeah, I know what you got.
But instead the other rich guy comes out of nowhere and shoots him in the arm, and which leads to everyone just rushing in. And I don't know, the cat's attracted to, maybe he's attracted to blood, so the cat shows up as well and bites the big guy that shot the dude, and he's like, it bites his ankle or whatever. And they're looking, and this is where they somewhat get the characters at least get a good view, or supposedly get a view of the cat. They don't really know. We don't really see it happening too much. We just see like one bite and like his foot off screen getting yanked on.
Yeah.
And it shows his foot afterwards, and it's like, oh, there's no way a cat could do this much damage because like his shoes ripped off and everything.
Yeah. And also the kitty is toxic.
Yeah, that's when we learn, because his like blood is pumping and elevated heartbeat and stuff, and you can see boulders like popping out of him and shit. So
yeah,
that's when they put 2 and 2 together that this cat has, I don't know, toxicness in it. They think, oh, maybe it has rabies, but he's like, oh no. And then they say, oh yeah, didn't you find a science tag or whatever on him? And then they they figure out that it's probably had to do with that shit.
Yeah.
And then yeah, the captain and the other girl go for help. They go to radio, SOS, Mayday kind of shit. But of course that Mr. What's his face dude, Mr. Graham comes in, he blasts the radio system and says, we're not doing this, we're getting to the Cayman Islands. And at this point I think the ship is completely donezo. It's like not malfunctioning, the engine overheated, and she's like, we can't go anywhere if we wanted to. And it's like, well, try anyway.
They didn't know what the heck they were doing with that boat.
Yep. And then the tables are turned. The fire extinguishes him, and they grab the gun, lock him up, put him in the brig. Yeah. And they, they try to, the nerd and the captain start fixing up the engine as best they could. I don't know, the preppy dude is, kind of keeping watch on the guy, and then he's getting bribed by him. He gives him a nice watch, and then he shows him, like in the beginning of the movie, they're bringing $3 million in cash on, and he like shows him the case, gives him a stack, and said the rest can be yours, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they kind of form an alliance here. But yeah, other than that, let's see. And then the next death, like the jock dude that's getting shot at is being comforted is by a girlfriend. They're making out, and he was like, yeah, I can't feel anything, look, my arm's all limp. And then they're making out. I was like, oh, but I can feel something. and then like they move the cover, like as they're making out, they move the covers, and the cat's just gnawing on his arm while they're making out, and they start fucking freaking out and shit. And he just books it out of there and says, and he's like screaming, I got the poison in my blood. He just keeps yelling that out. He's just like, I'm dead, I'm done for, I got the poison in my blood. And he wants to jump up. He's just like, he wants to end it and just jump off the edge, which he does. And he takes his girlfriend with him too.
And it results in this really melodramatic slow motion shot where it's like, okay, what's the point of that? Like,
they just take his girlfriend with him just to get rid of a body for time saving measures, I feel, because the movie's going pretty fast at this point. They
have to kind of wrap it up quick because they only got about 15 minutes left. So they both die. The two dudes kill the characters.
And the two other guys, they jump in as well, but they can't find them because they're drowning, I guess. I don't know. I thought they might have saved the girl, but no, she just drowned with them,
I guess.
Too bad.
Oh well.
So all that's left is, the preppy dude, the stock market guy. The bigger guy did die eventually. You see, he bulges popping out and shit, and just dies of whatever it is.
And didn't they throw his body? They throw his body off the boat as well.
They
Again,
did.
another dramatic slow motion shot. Tossing a body out. I loved it. I laughed every single time they did that.
It was hilarious.
And that one was like, he was wrapped in a sheet, so it was like oversized, clearly not a body.
Just some crash dummy wrapped in a sheet.
I loved it.
So they let the guy out, just because they need help now. It's only the four of them left. The preppy guy and the Wall Street guy, they go on a hunt. And at this point too, they rationalize that the food's probably poisoned. The cat got into it. They're out of food. So
one of them gets desperate.
So there's a ticking time bomb as they're all running out of food. They're like, oh, there's no fresh water here, champagne to drink. They find a box of cereal, cornflakes that's been unopened. So they
Better than nothing.
Yeah.
Eat cornflakes.
Yep. Yeah. So they go, the preppy dude and Graham go down. They put poison out for the cat. Like it's cat food. Looks like cat food that's poisoned, I guess. He says it's poison. But it doesn't work.
No. How can you poison a kitty that's already poisonous?
Right. The cat realizes that it's poison. He said, "Oh, this cat knows it's poison. Oh, whatever. Blah. How did he know? I don't know. Who knows?"
Yeah, too bad.
But this guy dies because he finds the cat down underneath and then just shoots at it or something. He shoots and misses, obviously, and then just blows his entire face off like Gus Fring in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
It's like fucking wild.
that was a gory little moment. I enjoyed.
Yeah, it was a
There's
nice
some
death.
decent- For a PG-13 rated movie, this had some decent gore.
Oh, was
actually.
this 13? I didn't know that. Shit.
Shockingly, yeah. I looked at the poster and the VHS cover and it said PG-13 in the little corner. MPAA, they approve of your
Well-
13-year-old watching Uninvited. Think about
Well,
that.
It's an 80s 13, not PG-13 though, so that was a little.
Yeah. And they were like, this ain't as hardcore as Indiana Jones in the last Crusade.
Yeah.
And what the hell was that other one? Red Dawn or whatever. It's like, yeah.
So at this point, Suzanne, which is the only like the girlfriend of the prep dude, she's starting to lose it, just straight up go crazy, see madness type shit. She's unresponsive. She wants to die. She's given up. And so does a rich guy. He's like, I don't care anymore. The only ones that really are trying to make everything good is the nerd and the captain. They're still trying to save everyone.
Yeah.
So the girl, she's really bugging out. She goes into the pantry. She finds some scraps of bread, and she's like, I knew there was food. You guys were lying to me, you fuckers. And then she eats like the smallest piece of bread too. It's like a tiny piece.
Yeah.
And she gets poisoned, and then she dies with like the same way like the same way the people that get bitten do. Like like there's a big bulge in her neck that starts popping out. She's bleeding from the mouth and everything.
Yeah, she's going.
Yep. So
Yeah, she
another
dies.
one gone. Another one gone.
Yeah.
And then at this point, there's I don't know. I mean, it starts to get real bad weather-wise. We get a nice shot of a toy boat in the fucking bathtub or some shit.
That's cute. Oh, I thought that was adorable.
Yeah.
This is one of the cutest movies we've watched on this show. In my opinion. I like the cat puppet was cute. The slow motion shots of the dead bodies falling into the water were cute.
Yeah.
The gore effects were silly and cute in their own way. And the toy boat, that might have been the cutest thing of all.
Yeah. And then there's, I think what must have happened was from when the dude blew a hole in the fucking, when he shot, he blew a hole in the side of the.
Oh, and that's why it was flooding?
That's what I assumed. There was just a giant hole for some reason. I don't know why.
It did start flooding out of nowhere. Yeah, maybe that must have been it. So.
That's right, because it was a big ass hole, and it was raining a shit ton, so they had to abandon ship.
Yeah, it's like all Titanic and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and then so it's just the captain. Lance is Martin is the smart guy, and Graham, the Wall Street guy.
Right.
They're prepping the lifeboat. He throws on 2 of the briefcases, and then he of course has to go down for the third.
Mm-hmm.
The third briefcase of money, where
which
it's guarded by that darn cat.
Yeah.
And like he grabs it, and I thought he was gonna make it out, but no, I really didn't. But
yeah, well, he didn't make it out, but
no.
At least they got to keep some of the money.
Yeah, yeah. And for some reason, fucking that guy went back to look for him too. I don't know why. He was just like, I would have just been like, "Fuck him, he's an asshole. Let's get out of here."
Yeah, they had to throw that in, I guess, a little bit, just to
Yeah.
confirm he was dead. So then they're on their way in the middle of the rainstorm, and I like what happened on their escape, like on their way trying to escape.
It was yeah, I thought it was gonna be the end ish right then and there when they were on the boat because they were making little jokes. Like, oh, there must be a. Well, she's like they opened it because they're like, oh, what was so important in this? And then she was, oh, that must be $1 million. Like right on the dot, she knew. Like, okay, that was corny as fuck.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but and they're a couple too by this point. They kissed sometime during the movie, and then.
But they get attacked while they're trying to get away.
Yeah, they get attacked a couple times. They don't get bitten. The guy holds it off, doesn't get bit, chucks it off like 2 or 3 times. Yeah, twice it happens. And they have the idea to chuck one of the briefcases off because the cat's just trying to stay afloat.
Yeah, exactly.
They do that, but before that, they're like, "Wait, hold on, we have this random duffel bag for some reason."
Where did that come from? I missed something. Where did they get the duffel bag from?
I don't know. I have no idea. They just luckily had one to stash $1 million in.
Gosh.
But they chuck the empty briefcase for the cat to chill on, like the fucking table or door in the Titanic. And and they get away with the cat just looking at him, just watching him row off into the storm. And that storm was intense too. I don't know like how much of it was CG or just like actual like storm mechanics on that raft that they were in. Like there must have been a lot of water being. It looked fake-ish, but it also looked real. But it was a lot of storm effects.
Some kind of movie magic. You never know how they could do it. It's like, pretty cool.
And then it ends stupidly as well. Like they go back and they try and tell like the Coast Guard or whatever about the whole situation, that there was a poisonous cat and everything. But if I was them, I would have just been like, yeah, there was a hole in the ship and we're the only ones that made it out alive. Like that would have been mine.
I don't know
why they didn't need to tell everyone. Like, possibly implicate themselves in murder if a cop wanted to do that, or the SEC was still trying to find the money or something.
It's weird. And the people didn't even believe them anyway. They were like, all right, go fuck off.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And then the last shot is strange for some reason. Like, so we see
confusing.
It is like we see it's a typical like, oh, there he is horror movie ending where we see the beach, we see the briefcase, pans over to a cat, but not the same cat.
Yeah.
like it's a black, like, because this whole time it's like an orange tabby that we're watching, and it's now it's just a regular old black cat.
I didn't understand that. So is it the same cat or is it not?
I don't know. I really don't know. Like I assume it must have been, but they couldn't. I don't know how or why, because orange tabbies aren't that rare. I assume.
Yeah.
Like they're one of the more common species or breed of cats. So
my cat is an orange tabby.
Yeah.
When I was watching this movie, I wondered, like, what would it be like if he had a demon kitty inside of him?
Yeah.
Like, what if I pissed him off so much that he barfed out a demon kitty and it killed me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know that's never going to happen, but what if,
Yeah. And then some kid picks it up and shot is just a kid holding the cat awkwardly too. Really weird. Didn't know how to hold a cat.
Yeah. They just told the kid to pick up a cat. he didn't know what he was doing, and they filmed it, and left it at that. They're like, we don't need a retake. Good enough. My cat liked the movie Fritz the Cat more than this one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's see. I was looking at some trivia on IMDb. There's some.
Anything interesting?
So, I think Graydon Clark, right? He's the director, I believe.
Okay.
The sinking of the yacht and several shots of the cat in the ocean were filmed in his own swimming pool. So.
Okay. There you go.
So there's that, because I did notice when he jumped into the water to the boat, it looked like he was on solid ground. Like,
Yeah.
like it's like, that's not that deep, but he kind of swam over. I was like, oh, okay.
It was weird. Yeah, it's funny.
The same two stock meow sound effects are repeated in various combinations throughout the movie.
Yeah, I noticed that.
His that guy's teeth.
Yeah, Klugulagars.
Yeah, his false teeth were made by his son, Tom Gulgar.
That's funny. I'm always gonna remember that guy as the fella from Return of the Living Dead. You know, who's like, you owe me a favor. Don't forget about that favor, mister.
Let's see. Graydon Clark paid $15,000 to rent the yacht, and that was filmed for 2 weeks. And the film was filmed over the course of 18 days.
Dang. All right. It's a pretty cool movie.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's like a little kitty demon monster thing. I dug it.
No, actually, I got this movie I got the idea from because I just heard it from How Did This Get Made? That podcast, if you're familiar with it.
Okay.
It's like Paul Scheer and Jason Mantzoukas.
Yeah.
They do these. They do this basically this podcast with them.
Right.
So that's how I got the idea from it, just because it sounded interesting. And apparently, Red Letter Media did a best of the worst with it.
Yeah, I actually watched that one yesterday. I was like, oh shit.
Really? I didn't see it.
Yeah.
And then also, it's riffed on by Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Excellent.
So I didn't know any of that, but
neither did I. That's cool. I'd never even heard of this movie. You know, as soon as I heard there was a cat on the poster, I was ready. You know? It didn't disappoint. You know, the cats. Cats are really like my thing. I love seeing horror movies with cats in them. So
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, I liked it. It's pretty good, pretty well done for what it is. You know, the acting wasn't even that terrible.
Yeah, it was silly. Some of the effects were goofy, but I give it like I'm like between a 2 and a 3. I can't decide because some parts of it were a bit schlocky and goofy, you know. But for the most part, I was pretty into it. I dug its sort of vibe. It was pretty cool. I mean, really, I enjoyed the ingenuity of it more than I enjoyed the story was kind of the typical like thugs doing their thing, getting other people involved, and then suddenly they have to deal with a threat. I mean, there's a lot of monster movies where that's the plot, you know, like Piranha. I think they did something like that with the remake. But you know, it's still fun. I'd watch it again, I think. So.
Yeah, I'd watch it again for sure. I'd give it like a 3.
Yeah.
Maybe even I'll go 3.5.
Okay. Nice. No nudity though.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So close. The girls were pretty.
Yeah.
Fine looking ladies. But
the ladies were attractive.
I'm not even in like from the 80s. I'm not really all into that aesthetic, but
yeah.
Hey, they're looking good. All the
too
hair
much hairspray.
But they kept it tame. They didn't have crazy hair or anything, and just
surprising since it's a slasher. I'd call it a slasher.
Yeah, basically a slasher movie. You know. What about you, Zach?
I give it a 2.5. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way you do. It's like it's good enough, but a little too schlocky at points.
Yeah. I think this would be a perfect movie to remake. Like, I bet they could make something pretty cool with today's technology. Like, if they really wanted to, they could try to outdo Malignant. Killer
Yeah.
Cat. Like, I
Yeah.
bet they could do something fucking hilarious and epic.
Killer Teratoma cat.
Yeah. I want to see like horror movie directors and horror movies like come out nowadays that are really just wild and crazy and goofy. Like I'm into that stuff. I want to see more of the goofiness. So,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's the end of our episode. I mean, unless anybody else has anything more they want to say about Uninvited.
No. I was just looking, trying to see if there was any reason, at least on IMDb, why the cat turned into a black cat, but it didn't say it was a goof or anything. I don't know. So who knows?
Maybe what the movie was trying to say is that even though this particular cat was toxic and demonic or whatever the heck was going on with the mutated scientific monster, it could be your cat that is the next one. Like,
Oh
like
shit.
I don't know, maybe something creepy
It's a
like that.
shapeshifter,
Yeah, shapeshifting kitty.
but only with
like,
cats.
Yeah, it'd be creepy. They got to do something like that. Make it like The Hidden, only with cats. Like a
If it
demon.
is, yeah, or if it is a shapeshifter, like have it go into a bigger cat, like a tiger or some shit.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
So awesome. Yeah.
Well, it does mention it in continuity error for it was just hidden by a spoiler tag is all.
Oh, okay.
Who knows?
Okay, so it's a continuity error. Okay, so it's meant to
Who
be the
knows?
same cat. I guess they couldn't get a hold of him.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's it for Uninvited.
Yeah, it was a good one. All right, well, that concludes our episode. So now we gotta choose our picks for next week's episodes, which we've decided to jump back to the 80s. Back to the 80s is the theme of today to next episode.
Yep.
And we've all three of us have chosen delicious 80s movies.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who wants to go first?
Don't matter to me.
I can go first since it's kind of my fault that we're doing 80s.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
So this is another movie that they just recently did on How Did This Get Made, but it had a huge amount of buzz about it. Apparently, like they were over the moon with it. So it's called Voyage of the Rock Aliens.
Okay,
All
right.
For that one.
Looking forward to it. I think it has Pia Zadora in it, so I think we'll see.
I do not. It has Michael Berryman in it.
Oh, okay, excellent. I'm ready for Michael Berryman. I think
Jermaine Jackson is in it too for briefly though, as I'm told.
Yeah. All right. The fella who named his kid Your Majesty.
Not
All right. Well, yeah. All right. Well, my choice is it's a notorious one. It was on the Video Nasties. It is so watch out. It is a Bigfoot movie titled Night of the Demon.
Ooh, well, I'm in for Bigfoot.
Yeah, I'm ready for this one. It is quite controversial. I'm looking forward to it.
Night of the Demon. Okay.
Yeah, Night of the Demon. It recently got re-released, restored. It was hard to find for a while, so
that was actually my first choice as well. But
oh, really?
Yeah. But instead, I'm gonna choose Dead Heat. A zombie cop.
Nice.
Also just re-release.
Ah, yes. All right. Does that have Trent Williams in it?
I'm not sure. It's got Joe Piscopo in it.
Oh my goodness. All right. It's gonna be good. I can't wait.
All right.
All right, cool. Voyage of the Rock Aliens. The Dead Heat, or no, just Dead Heat, sorry. And Night of the Demon.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. So a little bit of everything, you know, got zombies, got rock aliens, and you got Bigfoot. So
Yeah.
all right. Well, until next time, have a good night and peace out.
Have a good one.
See ya.